If you're looking for a super affordable way to increase the sound on your 2019 and newer 5.7 Ram, well then you should definitely check out Proving Ground C&L Series direct fit muffler setup that we're talking about here today. Now, this muffler will feature a straight through design that will help provide slightly deeper and louder tone overall, and will also pack a full stainless build for that low $300 price point. Install according to the site, guys, is going to get a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Take about an hour or so to complete from start to finish, but if you hang with me for a bit, we'll walk you through that job later in the video. But since this is an exhaust video, what do you say we break down the sound you can expect with the Proving Ground option in place? And honestly, guys, this system is going to be pretty tame overall, which, let's be honest, may be fine for a lot of owners out there. Listen, not everyone needs to have the loudest truck on the block, and if that sounds like you, well then this is something then you might want to consider. Now, it is certainly going to be a bit louder than stock with a slightly deeper tone overall, and good enough to get a strong 2 out of 5 on my patented 1 to 5 or 1 to wake the neighbor scale. Again, if you're looking to be loud, this just simply is not going to be the system for you. On the other hand, I found that the added grunt from the outside will also remain enjoyable in the inside of the truck as well while cruising. Not a whole lot of drone to speak of. So again, pretty tame both inside and out is what you can expect with the C&L series. But now that you know a little bit more what to expect when it comes to sound, let's break down the build of the Proving Ground. And as I pointed out earlier here, gang, all of your components are going to be 100% stainless steel. And let's face it, that's pretty awesome at this low price point. Of course, that does include the very small amount of 3-inch mandrel bent tubing, along with the muffler itself, which despite its maybe traditionally chambered appearance, is a straight through design here, perforated tube, filled with some packing here, and of course that will help to increase some flow overall compared to your restrictive factory muffler. Just a heads up here, guys, if you really dig the mellow sound of the C&L series, but maybe would like to change up the appearance of those factory tips, well, you're in luck. Proving Ground does also offer the same exact muffler setup along with twin powder-coated black tips for about $100 more, which of course you can find here on the site as well. But now comes the point in the video where we kind of shift gears, show you what it takes to get the Proving Ground system installed on your 5.7 at home. So without further ado, guys, grab your toolbox and check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now.
The tools used for this install are exhaust hanger tool, 15 and 16 millimeter sockets, a ratchet, an impact tool, and a metal cutting device. All right, guys, so we've already cut and removed this stock muffler section off of this truck once before for another video. We're gonna take a quick look on how to do that, and then we're gonna come right back to me for the install.
First step for the uninstall, there is some cutting. So I've got my Sawzall here with a thin curved metal blade. What we're gonna do is start on the rear end of our muffler, toward the rear of our truck. We're gonna cut right up against the weld that connects the muffler to the extension pipe that splits into the dual exhaust. So you're just gonna basically use that weld there as a marker and cut directly next to it all the way through. Now when you're cutting, you wanna make sure you have the proper eye protection. I recommend also using some gloves. Now that the cutting's out of the way, grab a hanger removal tool. We're gonna pop the 2 hangers off right above the muffler. I am using a pole jack underneath of our muffler just for some added support. All right, there's one more hanger by the flange that we're gonna have to disconnect. You also wanna make sure you're pulling off that ground strap. So we disconnect that, use the hanger tool to pop this guy off. Next, switch over to a 16 millimeter socket. I'm using a swivel socket just to make life a little easier. Get the 2 bolts off of that flange. Once you get the second bolt out, this whole thing is free. I have a pole jack on the other side for support. Just make sure you're ready to grab it. From here, you can lift the entire thing off in one piece.
Now that we've made room for our new muffler section, we're ready to start installing this onto the vehicle. I've got my clamp pre-installed here onto the end of my pipe. I'm just going to slide things in place and start lining up my hangers. Once you have your muffler section hanging properly in place, we can go ahead and install the provided gasket and hardware onto the flange here at the front. Now with a 16mm socket for the bolt side and a 15mm socket for the nut side, I can go ahead and tighten down these two bolts here at the flange and then work my way back to the clamp. Now I'll use a 15mm socket on my impact gun and tighten up this clamp to wrap up this install. And that's going to wrap up this review and install of the Proven Ground C&L Series Direct Fit Performance Muffler, fitting your 2019 to 2021 5.7 liter Ram 1500 with a factory dual exhaust. Thanks for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.